Hey, on the line with us is Prairie View A&M assistant coach Bubba McDowell. But if you're like me, you remember him from his days as an All-Pro with the Oilers and that national championship with the Miami Hurricanes. Hey, Bubba, thanks for joining us. And while there's got to be a lot of buzz on the Prairie View A&M campus coming off an 8-2 season with a brand new football stadium this year and an opener against that other A&M team, the Aggies.
There's a lot of buzz going on right now. We got the new facility, and just like you said, after a great season last year, Coach Simmons came in, and we've always had the talent, and to see a coach come in and convince these guys to believe that they can go out and do, what their talent calls them to do or calls for them to do was really remarkable. Just a testament of kids just buying into a system and seeing good things happen. And, of course, with the new facility going up right now, we're almost done. And we open up the season. Well, actually, we opened the season with Texas Southern Labor Day Classic. Then we have A&M the second game up there.
You guys really looking forward to that, or is there a lot of people talking around campus about that Texas A&M game?
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to it. There's a whole lot of talk. SEC, with a SWAC team coming up there. And of course they got a lot to prove. They didn't have such a great season last year. They had a lot of changes, so yeah, they're going to come out, and try to be that, top-notch SEC team that they are or should be, or people are hoping that they would be. And to have us come up there and compete with them, it'll also give us a good chance to see where we are, and plus give those kids a chance to compete with some of the best athletes.
You're coaching now. You played against or played with some of the real iconic coaches. Which coach or coaches do you find yourself borrowing from the most as a coach now yourself?
No doubt, Nick Saban, because my first 2 years there, I had Nick as my defensive back coach, along with Chris Dishman and Richard Johnson, Steve Brown. So those guys all taught me the ropes, but Nick, he kind of went to bat for me a couple of times, with Jerry Glanville wanting to sit me down as a rookie, because I was doing my own thing, not what the defense called, what I was supposed to do as far as the defense. A couple of times I was supposed to be on a blitz, and what we call a blitz peel, meaning if that back flares, I was supposed to get it. But, me being that's how I kind of got the nickname Blitz and Bubba, because I would never come off that blitz. I would just steady go to the quarterback, And they kind of saved my butt a couple of times, and, like he told Jerry, he said, Jerry, just keep him in there, I guarantee he's going to make some plays, And sure enough, each time he's done that, he told me the story. He said, you end up making plays out there, causing fumbles or getting interceptions, so that kind of saved your butt. But you got to get to the point where you got to get this defense down as a rookie.
People forget that Saban was on that Oilers staff. Are you surprised at what he's become, knowing him? What made him so special when you were playing for him?
Well, Nick is the type of a coach that he's very, very kind of standoffish, but because he's what he is, he loves what he do. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And he wants to make sure that whatever he's teaching to the athletes, that they will be able to apply it to the best of their ability. And sure enough, and you can see that, because I knew he was going to make a great college coach. And I've always said that I didn't think he was going to make, even when he left the Oilers, and then he went to Miami, a couple of pro teams, I didn't think he'll be one of those great NFL coaches because of relationship with grown men, and he just never had that great relationship with athletes on the high level.
Hey, I got to ask you about Buddy Ryan, because he just passed away. Two of my favorite documentaries over the last 5 years were ESPN's 30 for 30 on the Bears, the 85 team, and that was fantastic on Buddy. And then you had the NFL Network's A Football Life on the 93 Oilers, which I saw you were in. You were so much a part of that 93 team, which centered around Coach Ryan and everything that was going on. What was it like to play for him?
Oh man, it was a blast. I tell you, something. It's like playing for your dad. Like you have a father, kid have a father, and the father's out there watching you, and you don't want to disappoint him. He was that kind of guy. He was a player's coach. There's a lot of guys use that term in the league as player's coach, and when you have those type of coaches, players give their all for them. And man, and I know a lot of people think that he was about all business, but he did joke around quite a bit, but at the end of the day, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do concerning that 4-6 defense, oh, man, he will get on you. He don't care who you are. You know, I remember specifically we was at practice one day, getting out of meetings, and we were going to do a short walkthrough, and we had the blitz on, and Sean Jones, I was supposed to go through the B gap on my blitz, and Sean Jones actually went through the B gap. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to be an athlete. So I just, and made an adjustment and went outside of Sean Jones. Oh man, he ripped me apart. Then when he gets mad at you, he calls you by that name or the number. Get 25, get his blank out of there. And I'm like, buddy, that wasn't me. That was Sean Jones. Sean went through the wrong guy. I don't care. Get him out of there. 23, and I was blaming Bishop. Said, get in there. Get him out of there. So, I got out, and then we finished the walkthrough, and sure enough, no, I can't let this go. So as we were going into the building, and the coaches went to coaches meeting, and I said, no, I can't let this go. I got to let him know that was not my fault. So I was knocking on the door, walking. I was like, buddy, listen, that was not my fault. He said, I understand. He said, no, we good? I said, yes, sir. All right, let's go get ready for practice. And that was it.
Do you remember much about the punch? Were you anywhere close to all of that action on the sideline?
Yeah, Robert. I was very close. I was hurt that week. I just got hurt, and I was kind of nursing an injury that week, and I was supposed to play the next game, so they wanted to sit me out another week. It all escalated like when the week that I got hurt, we were going in halftime, and it was like a minute something left. We had got the ball back to the offense, and Buddy thinking, he really didn't like that offense, the chuck and duck, whatever he called it. He didn't like it at all. And it was like probably a minute and 10, something like that. We got the ball back thinking that offense was going to sit on the ball going to halftime. And sure enough, they threw an interception like third play of that series, of that first series after we got the ball back. Oh, man, he was mad. Sure enough, then we went back in there, boom. That's when I got hurt, tore my knee up, meniscus at that point. And then it was like even that week later, it wasn't bad. Like I said, I could have came back the following week, but they wanted to make sure everything was okay, so we was going to sit out the following week. And sure enough, that game, exact same situation, but then got the ball back, and sure enough, offense turned the ball over again with like a minute something left in the game, and oh man, that's and then Marcus Robinson, the other safety, ended up getting hurt. And that's when it hit the fan. And I was standing right there, and all of a sudden, I just saw a punch come across, and then all of a sudden, then right behind that, I saw Curtis Duncan come, trying to break it up, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, Duncan got in. I think was it Jeffries? Was he also in that? He might have been the one that stopped Gilbride from actually doing some damage, because Gilbride was bigger than Buddy, right? He was a little bit bigger.
Oh man, yeah, he definitely was. Yeah, I think if Haywood had to jump in there, because if I remember correctly, I know when Curtis first jumped in there, Duncan, but he had kind of holding Buddy back a little bit, and that's when Haywood kind of jumped in and grabbed Kevin Gilbride.
What was it like to relive that whole year with the 93 documentary? Because it just seemed like a surreal year to be a part of. What was it like to see it all happen all over again?
Still, disbelief, that, the team that we had that year, I mean, easily, Super Bowl contender, and the season that we had, we could have easily, been playing for a Super Bowl ring or a championship, and man, and just to see it happen all again, it just makes you wonder, man. Like, golly, I mean, I could have at least had 2 rings on my hand, with the athletes that, just looking at the document again, just looking at all the athletes that we had on there. I mean, I'm saying athletes, and I mean good athletes, like I said, good enough to where we should have had at least 2 championship Super Bowl rings on our fingers.
Yeah, there's tons of Pro Bowlers, but there were some all-time characters. Who was your favorite? Which guy made going to practice kind of fun every day?
Oh, no doubt. That's Spencer Tillman. Spencer was, I mean, he can emulate, he can copy pretty much everybody's voice, and he was good with Jerry, mimicking Jerry. That guy was a character, and he kind of kept it he kept it fun and live around practice time, man, because you just never know when he may step up, step out and do something. He'll do players as well. He'll do Doug Smith, Doug was always talking, but you could never understand what he was saying, just to hear Spencer say it and do it, man, it is classic.
You had Childress, Sean Jones, William Fuller, Al Smith, Wilbur Marshall, Dishman, you mentioned. The list goes on and on. Who was the most talented from that loaded defense? Who just flat out would surprise you with what he could do on the field?
I would say probably it was Dish. Knowing Dish when I came in, he came from Purdue. What I didn't know that he was a true man-to-man guy coming out of college. I'm like, what you mean true man-to-man? He said, that's all we did was man-to-man. And I'm like, wow. I said, okay, y'all never did. He said, man, we rarely did any. He always say I did. Like that, and I'm like, wow. But then just to see him do things out there, he can cover anybody. He doesn't look that fast, but then nobody ever run by him. And I'm thinking because he had such a long stride, and again, I always heard that he can run. And we had guys on that team that can flat out run, even from Dish all the way to Lamar, who can run with the best of the wide receivers. So he was by far. Now, granted, he wasn't a great tackler. But as far as covering, true man-to-man skill and shut you down. And the thing I loved about him, which I tried to get to, a lot of guys tried to get me to get to that point. Oh, man, if you go out there and talk some noise, man, don't be more vocal out on the field, man. You will be in no Pro Bowl first pick of the Pro Bowl like that. You can't have all these numbers, man, and then keep getting looked by. He said, you got to show some excitement out there on the field, man. I could never do it, but boy, I tell you, if anybody could do that, that was Chris Dishman. Boy, he could get into your head really quick.
Which quarterback from your era did you least like to play?
Least like to play? I would say probably Boomer. And Boomer side, every time we played them, essentially, it was we always had problems with him. So for whatever reason, when he was in there, they pretty much had our numbers except for that 1 year. Just to see him sit back there and swing that ball the left the way he did was crazy. But yeah, he was probably the least one that I would hate to play against.
Which of the wins with the Oilers was your favorite? What was your favorite win and memory from that time period?
The Cleveland win. I think it was Cleveland. We played on Monday night football. Cleveland, Cincinnati. We played Monday night football. That was my first interception touchdown, pick six for a touchdown, and kind of tight-roping on the sideline. Sean Jones put the pressure on the QB, and he kind of threw the ball in a hurry, and I was sitting out there in the flat, and I caught it kind of tight-rope on the sideline. Then I caught my balance, stopped enough to gather my balance, and then ran it in for like 26 yards for the touchdown.
Let me get your loss that from the Oilers days that stings the most of all of those losses. Which one sticks in your craw the most?
Probably, which one. That without a doubt. Well, without a doubt, the greatest comeback in sports history. Because again, that game, and it's so hard to explain to people. Like when people ask you what happened, and heck, half the time I don't even know what happened because that second half, it was like, honestly, you look back on Robert, it was like a blur. Because things were happening, and I tell my players that, because they'll sit on the documentary, they're like, man, I just saw y'all part of the greatest comeback history in sports history. I said, yeah, that I was part of that deal. I said, I had the last touchdown to get us up and to a real big, comfortable lead. I said, but that second half, man, I said, it was just like a blur. It was like a trickle-down effect, like nothing was working. Then you go back and look at it, you're like, God dang, man, no, why were we out of place here? Why were we out of place here? And I looked at a couple of plays where I could have easily had about two more interceptions. You start questioning, like, golly, why did I do that? Why did I try not to hit the tight end instead of just running through the tight end and getting the interception? That interception, it plays in my mind like that could have been, the dagger right there. Because I could have, when I say easily had two other interceptions, I could have easily, but playing cautious and didn't make it, it put us in a bind where, as everybody know, what the game ended up at, and it was happening so fast. It was crazy. Like, we couldn't even catch our breath and then to even stop what was going on.
I thought you were going to say Buffalo, but the Chiefs loss. You guys were just so talented that year, and you had won 11 straight going into that game. And I just remember Joe Montana looked like his arm was taped together with duct tape and baling wire or something like that. So that was a tough one too, I'm sure.
It was. I mean, and the reason why that was a tough one, but I guess because, again, like you said, again, we that year coming off that season that we had started with the first four games, not winning, then come back and do what we did, 11 straight. You can't even fathom a team doing that, 11 straight games like that, And I remember vividly, I had a kill shot on him, and I truly believe had I hit him, man, he would have been gone. He would have been out. We had a safety blitz, and I went in, and I'm thinking he didn't see me. And I'm coming from his left side now. I'm coming from his left side, which was to the field. It was on the hash and was coming from the field. I was coming from the field. And Robert, I don't know how he saw me, but he stepped up at the last minute. And of course, I wasn't expecting. I was expecting to just knock him out at that point. And sure enough, when he stepped up, I reached out with my left arm. I hit him on the shoulder. He kind of turned his shoulder a little bit. And, man, my whole pec muscle just ripped apart right there at that particular time. And I didn't know what it was at the time until I got on the sideline. They told me what it was, and I ended up trying to play out the first two series of the second half with my left arm tied down. And then I just couldn't do it anymore, and they took me out, and in come Bleav Bishop. But, yeah, we should have had that. But just to see him nail that ball in when Chris Dishman was covering Willie Davis, I honestly, to this day, still don't understand how that ball got past Chris, because Chris was he was right on top of Willie. And again, I don't know how the ball got inside Chris for Willie to catch it.
I was working at the CBS in Memphis in 2000, as luck would have it. I grew up an Oilers fan and was an Oilers fan through all the tough times, and I end up covering the Titans in the Super Bowl in 2000. But
wow.
in the AFC Championship game, I got to ask you this, Bubba, because they win against Jacksonville. I'm on the field, and I go up to Marcus Robertson, and he grew up an Oilers fan, and he had played in Houston as well with the Oilers. And I said, what does this feel like? And he said, well, I just hope the people in Houston know this is for them too. And it was just a surreal moment for me just to see them get there, finally reach the Super Bowl in a Titans uniform. And I just wondered, what were you thinking as you're watching this whole thing play out? And I remember covering Bruce Matthews, and he just kept calling him the Houston, Tennessee franchise. Do you remember watching all that unfolding?
Yeah, I did, and I was so glad and so ecstatic that they had got to that point. Because it was not only, again, like the guy said, not only for Tennessee, but a lot of people still thought, it was the Oilers team, because a lot of guys that was, again, from the Oilers, moved to Tennessee. So a lot of people still classify them as Houston Oilers, even though they wasn't here. And to see that happen for them, to be happy for them, at that particular time was great. And I wish I could have been a part of that, but I wasn't. But at the same time, I was so happy for them, for the Oilers at that time.
It's all about the you. No, I'm not going to sing it. I can't sing it. But I got to ask you about Jimmy Johnson. You remember when you first met him, and what was it like to get recruited by Jimmy Johnson?
Well, actually, I got recruited by Howard.
Oh, you were in the Schnellenberger. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the last year when he decided to go to the USFL deal, take that deal, and then that's when they brought Jimmy in.
Your first year was under Johnson or under Schnellenberger?
Yes, sir. On the Johnson,
yes.
Yeah, on the Jimmy. Mm-hmm.
So Schnellenberger got you in. What do you remember about meeting Jimmy Johnson for the first time?
I didn't know much about him, but as the years went on, or not even the years really, but as we got more into summer practice and just trying to figure out what kind of coach he was, and me being young as I were, I know as a freshman I wasn't going to be playing, but I'm still practicing. But as we got deeper and got to know him more and more very quickly, he established, hey, you know what? This is my team. You're going to do what I need you to do, or else you're going to be out of here. We're probably, and I tell guys this all the time, we probably had about, even with the talent that we had there, Robert, that was a lot of talent there in that era, those days. We probably had about a good 10 to 15 guys that either quit because of the regiment that he instilled in us, that, he gave the team over to Jerome Brown and Alonzo Highsmith and those guys. And you know what? This is our team. This is what we're going to do. And if you're not a part of it, you need to make some other adjustment. And a lot of guys did. A lot of guys ended up quitting, and, Jimmy ended up getting rid of some of them because they weren't doing what they're supposed to do. And then, again, he wasn't sad about it. He was like, hey, we got to make some adjustment. You gonna do it my way. I remember one day we was killing Benny and Alonzo and Eddie Brown. All those, we were killing them guys in practice. And this was our scout team. Man, you know how hot it is in Miami. And we halfway through practice, and Jimmy stopped practice, brought everybody over. These are freaking freshmen and sophomores, yada yada. And you guys are let this crap go on. You Eddie Brown, Alonzo Highsmith, Melvin Bratton. You guys are letting these guys do this, and we were shutting them down. And again, I had probably one of the best talented class coming in that year. And man, so I'm gonna tell you one thing. A lot of you think that it's a scholarship of 4-year renewal. You got a scholarship for 4 years, but as long as I'm here, it's 1 year renewable. If you're not going to do what I ask you to do and put forth the effort, you will be out of here so quickly. And man, sure enough, and we started the whole practice over again. From that day forward, he kind of put the fear in a lot of guys, and probably right after that, we probably had about 5 to 8 guys that he made examples of, and for other guys to see that happening, we know that he was very, very serious.
You mentioned Jerome Brown. Tell me about him. What was it like to play with him? What do you remember most?
Oh, man. He's a guy. He was funny. He loved to joke around. He was a big kid, man. He was a big kid in a grown man's body, We used to do this deal. We had an art show there every year in South Miami. Our guys just go over there, in our spare time, and we all just get all everybody, he'll call everybody together. So we rarely go anywhere by ourselves. So we would all just get together and get a group, 2 or 3 trucks, and then we take off, and man, and we kind of spread out in the whole area out there. But he would put together those type of things for the team. Very, 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 very in control of everything. When you say a leader, he gonna be in control of everything, and that's what we loved about him. And he didn't do it in a bad way, and that's what guys respected about it. So what I truly remember about it is that and the love for fast cars, because that's how he and I got together. Because the love of cars, of speed. He kind of introduced me to it. I grew up with my dad and brother, but then to see him build these race cars that he built coming out that year, and I think it was the first year Grand National. Beard had that Grand National, and he had one there, and he used to always take me whenever we had a chance, knowing that I love speed, he used to take me for a ride in the Grand National, 87 Buick, man, and it was trustworthy enough to let me even drive it sometimes, so he was that type of guy.
Yeah, I love hearing the Jerome stories, and I also want to ask you about Highsmith, because you played with Alonzo in Miami and then with the Oilers. I assume you guys have a long relationship. It's a special relationship with you guys after playing that many years together.
Oh, we do, and that's what I love about, and I think that has to do, Robert, with Jerome Brown, the Vinny Testenberg, the Alonzo Highsmith, the Melvin Bratton. All that closeness had to do with those guys, because those guys instilled in us, and what, we got to take care of each other. Because Jimmy always told us, hey, don't worry about what's happening outside of this football team. Whatever goes on within this family stays in this family, and that's what we did. And we couldn't have done that without those guys I just mentioned. Alonzo, he was very instrumental in me getting drafted here with Houston Oilers. He'll tell you about it. And they'll let him tell it. Hey man, I told him that they called me and asked me, what I think about it, because they say I wasn't fast enough. Jimmy Johnson passed him up when he had a chance to get him. First pick of the second round, Jimmy Johnson passed him up. So what what is that all about? You know, Alonzo said, hey, man, I know he's a great player. I think y'all should, he'll be a great player. You know, I think you guys won't go wrong with him. So he was very instrumental in me coming here with the Oilers, and I thank him for it, you know, all the time. We're like family because we talk to each other even now that he's up in Green Bay. You know, he got me introduced. He introduced me to golf, so you know I owe him for that as well. Even though I'm kicking his butt now, so.
Well, with the whole national championship that year, and I think it was '87, you guys won. Would it have been as special if you hadn't gone through everything you went through the last year? I mean, it was terrible to lose in the national championship game against Penn State, but do you feel like it was a little bit more special though to win it that next year after going through all that?
Yeah. You know, I think the reason why it was so special because we won it at home, and we've had several times where we could have had the national championship title, you know, in our grasp. You know, we lost to Tennessee one year in the Sugar Bowl. We were ranked pretty high that year, and if we had won that game, we most likely would have got the national title that year. But we went up there, got our bus tore up, and I think it was my second year in Miami. We had UCLA in the Fiesta Bowl, got our butt beat there, and it was got out like, hey, you know what, these guys ain't gonna win they ain't gonna win unless they play at home. That's when they play best, and sure enough, we were blessed to come out the following year after the Penn State year and play the way we played. I mean, we were having so much fun that year. I mean, and just me, I don't know about anybody else, but I didn't realize we was undefeated at the time because we were having so much fun. Then to look at the ring, have 12-0 on it, and I'm like, golly, we were undefeated.
Well, one last question for you. What do your players at Prairie View ask you about the most from your days at the University of Miami and with the Oilers? Is there a question or two that you get more than any other?
Just how was it at the U as a team? You know, second most asked question, maybe number one, two, like, you know, when they see the documentary, like, God, I mean, you guys were wow. You guys were wow, Coach. He said, did all that happen? I said, yeah, man, it all happened. I said, well, you know, that's probably half of, you know, what happened down there. You know, that's all we can tell you guys. But I said, one thing, you know, I tell you guys, I always try to tell you guys that at the end of the day, you know, we're for each other. We had each other back, and that's what we believed in, and that's the way we played the game, and that's why we were so successful. With the Oilers, they just basically how was the pro level compared to Miami. You know, because, you know, they're like, well, we look at Miami, you guys were basically a pro team and had that pro status. I said, yeah, we did. I said, we sure did. I said, you just like that documentary said, you know, we were probably more popular than the Dolphins at the time. I said, that's very true. I said, but, you know, it was totally different, two different teams, two different times, you know, with the Oilers and Miami. If you can go back, which one would you go do right now? I like to do it. Any time, any day. I'm back at Miami. So those years were so special, you know, because again we were just playing. Again, not even worrying about, you know, if we go into the league. We were just out there playing and having fun.
And those documentaries got both of them right. You think the two documentaries on the Oilers and the Hurricanes?
Oh, yes, sir. Without a doubt. I mean, it was spot on with both of them.
Hey, man, thanks so much for doing this. Thanks for taking the time. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Anytime.
Good luck to you guys at Prairie View this year. Hope you guys have a fantastic season.
Thank you, Robert.
For more interviews, subscribe to Houston Sports Talk on iTunes, or if you're an Android user, download our free Houston Sports Talk app in the Google Play Store. We're also available on Stitcher or the TuneIn app, and our website is houstonsportstalk.net.